Okay, today I thought it would be fun to do some hip drops. Yes, cool. So these are coming from the vertical hip slides, not ribcage slides, hip slides using the obliques. Okay, different to the hip locks that we did previously, in that with the hip locks, I'm standing on my right foot and I'm squeezing my right hip up. So everything is anchored on one side. This one happens on the opposite side. So I have to be standing on my left foot if I want to lift my right hip up. So left foot is flat, right foot is on the ball. Like most of my weight is on my left foot. Knee is soft, low belly is engaged. Squeeze at the oblique and relax. Squeeze the hip up and relax it down. Squeeze it up and relax it down. Releasing that tailbone. Back knee is soft and it doesn't straighten as I lift the hip and bend as I drop, like release it, okay? So be careful not to bounce with this one. Something to be mindful of, just keep it soft. Lifting and releasing. Lifting and releasing. Try that on the other side. So far, all we're doing is just lifting the hip, opposite hip. So I'm standing, weighted on my right foot, and lifting my left hip by squeezing my left oblique. Keep the hands out of it. Alrighty. So coming back onto my right hip, I'm stepping onto my left foot. Knee soft, low belly engaged to release the tailbone. Let me just stand a little bit forward to show you. I'm squeezing up on the right, and then I'm going to do a left hip lock. Boom. Locking my left hip up, locking the right hip down to give it that nice sharp drop. As we spoke about before, our hips are like a seesaw, so one goes up, the other one goes down. Okay, so I'm lifting my right hip by squeezing it up, and then I'm releasing, just relaxing all the muscles here, but squeezing up on the left to give it that boom, down, up, boom, up, boom. So right hip up, left hip sharp, right hip up, left hip sharp. So when the left hip goes up, the right hip goes down. So these are hip drops. Woo. Let's come on the other side. I'm anchored on my right, squeezing the right hip up, the left hip up, and then right hip lock to give it that nice sharp boom. Drop. Low belly is engaged, supporting your soft. Up and boom. Up and boom. Up and boom. Up and boom. Alright. Couple of variations we can do with this. There's a drop kick. Okay, and not like the rugby drop kick. Alright, no. This is actually just a drop release. My foot is on the floor. I'm going to drop my hip, and then on the second drop, just release the toes. Drop and kick. So it's like a drop, release, drop, swoosh, drop, kick. Try that on the other side. Standing on the right foot, left hip is going to lift and drop, lift, drop, lift, and release the toes. Lift, drop, lift, release. Low belly still engaged, supporting the ears soft, standing tall. Okay, that's the drop kick. Typewriter, I'm going to incorporate the twist motion into this. So I'm standing on my left foot, typewriter on the right hip. Typewriter because old school typewriters where we used to go tick, 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 zing, tick, 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 zing, alright? I'm old enough to remember that from school. Okay. So I'm going to twist my hip forward and drop it down. bring it back to neutral, drop, and twist my hip back, drop. And then zing, twist it forward. So drop front and middle and back. And zing. Front and middle and back. And zing. The thing to watch out with this one is that your knee doesn't go with your hip as you're twisting it. Okay, so we're going to be engaging here to keep that knee as stationary as possible. Yes, standing on my left foot. This one, the other left, my left hip. So I'm going to twist it forward, drop front, bring it to neutral, drop middle, twist it back, drop back, zing, twist it forward, drop front and middle and back, zing, twist it forward, front, middle, back. Low belly is engaged, supporting knee is soft, drop front, middle, back. And as I mentioned with the hip square hip omi video, one side, depending on my right hip, is a lot more active, usually just from fat trance belly dance style dance, mostly. It has a lot more range of motion, so it feels a lot looser and easier to move. My left hip gets a little bit lazy, so, and plus I favor my right side to present it as well. Okay, what was the last thing? Oh, the best. Right, so it's a drop and step, drop and step, alternating hip drops, drop and step. So what I'm doing here is doing one hip drop, and then I'm going to step and lift the opposite hip at the same time. Drop, step and lift, drop, step and lift, drop, step and lift, drop, step and lift, drop, step and lift. This one is really fun to travel with. But let me come forward a little bit, because generally I'll only travel backwards with it because that's the way it looks prettiest. So we're going to drop, step behind, drop, step behind, drop, step behind, drop, step behind, and don't bash into the screen. So one more time, let me show you. Drop, step and lift, drop, step and lift, drop, step and lift, drop, step and lift, drop. Okay, so review this one as many times as you feel like you need to, and then join me over in the drills video, wherever it is, to do that some more.